Genau. Nachdem wir werden uns circa eine Stunde jetzt Zeit nehmen mit Ariel und von ihm hören. Ihr dürft auch einfach Fragen nebenher in den Chat stellen oder an mich direkt schreiben. Nach einer halben Stunde circa werden wir zu einem Punkt kommen, wo wir einfach eure Fragen beantworten wollen. Also bitte stellt sie einfach rein, egal was ihr habt. Jetzt ist eure Chance zu fragen. Und wenn er irgendeine Information nicht teilen kann aus dem Militär in Israel, dann wird er das einfach nicht machen. Aber ihr seid frei, alle Fragen zu stellen, die euch auf dem Herzen brennen. Und ansonsten haben wir danach noch eine kurze Werbeeinheit mit nach unserem Meeting von 10 Minuten über ein Volontariat, eine Möglichkeit des Volontariats in Israel und über noch etwas intern von uns als Christen an der Seite Israels. Da bitte ich euch dann einfach noch kurz drin zu bleiben, das noch mitzunehmen. Vielleicht ist es ja was für euch, wo ihr gerne dabei wärt oder gerne daran teilnehmen würdet oder das gerne an jemanden weitergeben würdet. Genau, von daher bleibt gerne drin. Alright. Ich werde hier auf Englisch sprechen mit Ariel gemeinsam und David wird im Übersetzungsraum übersetzen. Das heißt, vielen Dank dir hier schon mal, David, dass du das machst und dass du ja da jetzt eingesetzt bist. Und jeder, der die Übersetzung braucht, darf sich da einfach mit einem extra Gerät einwählen. Ihr könnt nicht mit einem Gerät gleichzeitig an 2 Meetings teilnehmen. Das geht leider nicht. Genau. Ariel, it's so nice to have you here tonight. Thank you so much for joining. And yes, I did not do too much to introduce you yet, but I would like to ask you 2 questions in the beginning, just so we can all get to know you and meet you. You live in Israel and you're 20 years old, and you have an interesting story, how you grew up, which you're going to share later. But other than Israel, do you have a favorite country in the world?
Wow, favorite country in the world? I think I really like Germany. I was there a couple of times. I really like it. Very nice people, very nice area. I actually really like Germany. And, yeah. I think,
Germany is great. We love that. Yes, the second question is, what is your favorite food?
Wow, I really like sushi.
Sushi, yes, very Israel, definitely.
Yeah, very like sushi. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, let's get to one more question before you start all your meeting. Maybe I'm already taking it away from you. Maybe you were going to share about it already. But you grew up as a Messianic Jew. You tell about yourself that you're Messianic. What does that mean? And why do some people not think of you as a Messianic Jew, maybe?
Jew, like in the word Jew, or Messianic? Like, what do you mean?
More like the Messianic part, or the Jewish part, actually.
Okay. So in Israel, when you say Jew, there is, when you say Yehudi, in Hebrew, it means Jew. When you say Jew, there is a lot of different opinions about that word. Most of the people think and assume that when you say the word Jew, it means that you're a religious one. When you go to Germany, for example, and you say I'm German, it doesn't mean that you're religious. It means that you're part of the community, part of the German people. And in Israel, when you say Jew, most of the people think that you are religious. So my family, I have a Jew father, he's Jewish, but my mother is Russian, she's not Jewish. And the religious people in Israel, they think that I'm not Jewish, okay? Not everyone, like the religious one, okay? The regular Jews, like the not religious one, they agree that I'm Jew. Why? Because I have Jew DNA, Jew blood. I have my genes coming from Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. My grandfather is Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. And from my father's side, from my mother's side, I'm Russian, from Russia. But the problem in Israel that if you want to be religious, you have to be Jew from your mother's side. Okay, that it means that if I want to be one day, for example, religious Jew, I need to wear, and I want to wear a kippah and everything that you're doing as a religious one, I need to do it's called in Hebrew, like in the army, it's called kurs nativ, like coming back to the faith, for example, and or giyur for people who's not in the army. But for example, if a friend want to do like chazara b'tshuva, like to come back in the faith to be a religious one, you just need to wear kippah and go to Bet Knesset. So it's a little bit different. I'm Jew within the DNA, with the Jew people. I'm Jewish as the people, but not as the religious one. And for me, it's okay because I'm a Messianic Jew. I believe in Jesus and I'm going with him. And I believe in Jesus exactly as you do. But I'm also have Jew background. So it means that I'm doing everything as a Jew, but not a religious one. Yeah.
Thank you. That is very interesting. If anyone has further questions later on, you're always welcome to write me and I can explain it to you again. It's not so easy because there's a lot of different opinions, but yeah, thank you so much. So Arya, just start. You want to share whatever you want to share with us tonight, and we're very looking forward to having you here.
Okay, so I can start, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. So as Dina said, my name is Daniel. I live in Israel. I live 5 kilometers from the border with Gaza. I live in Gaza Strip in a small village called Yated in Hevel Shalom. In Hebrew, it's like the way of peace in Hebrew. And all of my life, I grew as a Messianic Jew within the believers family. And I'm 20 years old. Now I'm serving in the Israeli Navy. I was a combat soldier in the Israeli Navy, a small unit of ships that protects the Gaza border through the seawater, doing different stuff that I will talk about, and different stuff that I cannot talk about. So we will talk about what I can say, and also like the way that I came to the army. So I'll start with a little bit background with my family. So my parents called Shaul and Yulia. They did an aliyah from Moldova. Okay, and what it means in Hebrew when you say aliyah, or there's two words, agira or aliyah. Agira in Hebrew is immigration, and aliyah for it's like aliyah. You don't have exactly the word for aliyah. Aliyah, it's the Jews that decided that they want to come to the Holy Land, go back to Israel, and to take part in Israel and to be part of the people here in the Holy Land in Israel. Immigration is just moving here, not exactly from a spiritual part or not from relation to Israel. But they decided to do an aliyah. My father is Jew. He decided that he had something very spiritual. His parents, fathers, like his mother, his father, everyone, from my father's side, most of the people also died in the Holocaust, and they decided to do an aliyah to come in here, to come to Israel and to take part in Israel and to work here to develop the land. And they came to Israel, my parents, 20 years old, already married, with 2 violins and $200 that my grandma gave them. They did an aliyah together as a married couple to Israel. And they didn't have a lot of money. They were 2 musicians, my parents, that started to work in here as musicians. And they started to work here with different bands, with different people. And then as time goes forward, I came to the world in 26 years old when my mother gave me to birth, and my father. I was born in Lod. It's a city with a lot of different people: Muslim people, Christian people, Jew people, religious people, like all of the kinds you just can imagine. Everyone lives in there, and it's doing a lot of problems. And I was 2 months old, and my mother decided that she don't want to raise a child in there, and my mother and my father decided to move from there to a city called Hod Sharon. It's a very regular kind of city with like very good people city. And through all of this time, my father knew that he want to move to the south, and to build their house, exactly as Ben Gurion, the first one who built the country, and it was the president. And from there, we decided to start moving towards the south, and as time goes on, I'm growing up. When we moved to the south, I was already 6 years old, went to the first class. We moved to a place called Moshav Shachar. It's a small village near Ashkelon. It's very close, it's very in the south, close to the sea. And I was living there for 8 years. When the time grows up, all of the people in the school and all of the friends, so everyone heard that my mother is not Jew. They heard that she's Russian, and exactly in the second that they hear that, so the mother is not Jew, for them you're not Jew at all, especially for religious people, who's wearing kippah, who's religious Jew. And I've went to and we lived in a village that there was a lot of religious people, so it means that I have a lot of problems with those religious people because they don't want to communicate with me too much. And from those points, already from first class to second and to third and to fifth, I was very scared to talk about the faith. I was very scared to talk about that I have parents who's believing in Jesus. I was scared that I'm to say even the word Jesus. I was scared even to say that I'm going to a church or something even similar to that, because I knew when in the second that I will say that, something very bad can happen. They can beat me, they can curse me, they can do bad things. Maybe I will not have friends. And you know, these thoughts as a small child, as a like 8 to 9 years old, it's making you a lot of mess in the head, and it's very scary. And from those ages, I was scared to talk about my faith, to talk about Jesus, to talk about the faith, even to say and to manage that my mother is Russian and not Jew. Okay, that is also was very scary for me. As time was going on, my parents, of course, doing music. You coming from musicians family, you of course need to be a musician. So I decided they forced me to go to learn music. I was a bass guitar, and I was doing different performances with them, with different bands. I was doing music, and as time goes on, I'm seeing that it's not. I don't want to be exactly as my parents. I don't want to play as professional as them. And it's also doing a little bit of mess in the family because they want me to be a professional player, but I don't want exactly. And as time goes on, I'm going to my 7th grade. In Israel, it's already a different level of class. You finish your first classes and you're going for a little bit more mature school. And there I've seen a lot of different people. It was a new school, different new people. And I thought to myself, okay, maybe it's opportunity to a little bit to talk about my faith. Maybe it's opportunity to talk a little bit about something. But I've seen that in those times I've started to have a little bit more friends, and I was scared. I was scared that in the moment that I say the word Jesus, I will not have anyone that got my back, they talk with me, anyone. So I've decided to keep it a secret. And none of the people who's living near us was living with us, anyone was knowing that I'm a believer in Jesus. They knew that I'm Jew, something there, because my mother is not Jew, but your father is Jew. So you're not a religious one, but you're still a Jew. So they didn't know how to process that, but it was okay. And then in my 9th grade, we moved to another village, more to the south, 5 kilometers from the border with Gaza. And it means that I'm moving to a new school, to a new people, to a different area at all, with a new people, with a new friends, with a new families, with a new neighbors. And I'm going there, and I've decided that no, this point, I'm going to talk about my faith. I'm living it as a Christian. I'm doing everything. I believe in Jesus, and I want to talk about it because I have nothing to scared of. I have nothing to talk about and to feel scared. And I went to the new school with the new people. I've had a very high peak in my faith as a believer. I went to different churches with different conferences. I had a lot of Christian friends. And for me, it was very high level of faith. And I've decided I'm going to talk no matter what in my faith. And I went to the first day in the school, and I see that a lot of people want to be with me. A lot of people want to be friends with me. A lot of people want to be together with me. And I've seen that I'm pretty popular as a child who didn't have too much friends because I didn't have a lot of people that want to talk with me because my mother's something different. My father, it's complicated. I'm Russian. I'm not Russian. And it was a big mess. And I didn't have a lot of friends, especially in the first grades. And I'm seeing that I'm pretty popular. I have a lot of friends. Okay, so this is the worst time to talk about the faith. So I can lose everyone. I'll be alone again. And I don't want to do that. And the faith from a high peak of level, just going down and down and down and down, those fire in my heart for Jesus, just keeping shutting down and down and down and down, because I just don't talk about it. And this is the age that you starting doing bad things, like 14, 15, 16, 17, all of those teenage ages is a bad time, especially for people who's not keeping strong with the faith. And I've started to doing bad things with not believer families and not believer friends. I started to do different parties and different things that I'm not proud of. And I've decided, and as time keeps on, my faith just going down. The fire is just keeping shutting down. I'm not talking about the faith, and I'm just losing everything. And at those times, I had a lot of agencies, model agencies, and the acting agencies, who's decided that they want me to be there, to be a model, to be an actor, and it sounds very interesting. You know, like from nowhere, people want to be with you, people want to talk to you, and people want to publish you. So it's wow, it's for me, it's exciting. So of course I want to go and hear what they say for me. And then I went to the model places, and with my parents, we seeing what they offer for me. It was bad. They offer for you to be a face and not anymore in the televisions, but it's very, very dark. The industries, the people, and all of those times you understand that it's not for you. And I've decided that I want to learn acting, to go for acting school in front of cameras. I was learning half a year of acting classes I've done, and I've started to act in different serials, different movies. And as time goes on, I'm already 16, 17, and I'm seeing how the industry is so bad. People smoking, people drinking, a lot of homosexuality, a lot of bad people who's influenced bad on others, and there's so much bad things that are going on. And how can I take part of that, especially as a believer? But on those times, I was questioning the faith. I want to take over that part of that. I want to be famous. I want to be an actor. I want to be a model. I want to be everything. And I've started to develop my own social media. I had a lot of followers. I've had 17,000 followers on TikTok and like 10,000 on Instagram. And it's a lot of people who just want to see me. And I was like in a high place, but I was every day in my life that I'm coming in the morning, I'm feeling like drowning with my thoughts, with my things, everything that I want to do. And it was awful. So I've decided that I'm not doing that. I've decided that I'm going out of the model agencies. I'm going out from the acting things. So I've decided that I want to do something else. All of my life, my parents teach me. All of my life, my parents teach me to take responsible and to be a responsible kid. My parents they weren't a lot of my house because they were musicians. So it means that they're going outside of the country, perform in different places. And there was like weeks that I'm just alone with my brothers in my house. So from young age, I've learned to be a responsible man for myself. So I've decided that I want to do something big, something special. And I've decided to open my own business at 17. At 17 years old, to open my own business. I've opened a business for videography, something that I was doing before, model acting, something similar there. And I've decided to open my own videography business. I've done different commercials, different videos for different businesses, lawyers, trainers. And I've started to get to know people, people who's high in the society, people who's rich, people with money, people who's based on people who's got like the most special cars and the most huge houses. And it's exciting. It's very exciting because you see so much amazing things and you want to be like them. So you start to work with them. And then I'm 17. In Israel, in 18, you need to go to the army no matter what. You don't have a choice. It's like you're going to the army, that's it. No matter who you are, no matter what you're doing, no matter if you're boy, girl, no matter if you're Russian, if you're Moroccan, it don't matter what, you're going to the army. It's no matter what. And I knew that, but I was keep working on a business and not thinking about the army. I was not thinking about it at all. And I forgot that in 16 years old, I wanted to be like in the high combat unit in Israel, it's like the Navy SEALs of Israel. In Hebrew, it's called Shayetet 13. It's the high level unit of combat in the Navy. And I wanted to go there in 16, before the modeling, before the acting, before anything. Because I started to go with my own way, but not with the Lord's way. And I decided and started to do very things from my own thoughts, but not from the Lord's thoughts and the Lord plans for me. And then in 17, from the high place that I wanted to be in the army, I've decided that I don't want to go to the army at all, because I have my own business. I have a lot of followers in the Instagram and TikTok. I have a lot of people that know me, different friends that are rich, and I will be with them, and I will develop myself and I will be rich like them, because I'm with them all the time. So this is what I want to be, a rich man with a lot of cars, with a lot of houses. And I've decided that I'm going to different places, to different people, and I'll try to not to go to the army, and I'll try to go out of the army. And I'm talking to different people and doing everything that I can. I've talked to lawyers, to healthcare. I did anything that I can do just to not go to the army. But the army just laughed at my face. They saw my profile, they saw my, like, all of the information about me, and they said, no, you're going to the army. You not just to go to the army, but you're going to be a combat soldier in a combat unit. And
Ariel, just 1 second. The translation has a problem. Are you still in the Zoom room?
So I got kicked out. Sorry to interrupt, Ariel. It's actually, so I was recording the audio and I got kicked out, and right now it's converting the audio recording up to this point. So I think that's good. And I think I'll be able to join in the meeting in like 1 or 2 minutes. So yeah, sorry for the interruption. This hasn't happened before. I will try to get back into the translation room in just a second here. I don't know, Dina, maybe you can ask a question or two to pass the time. Sorry.
I'll just summarize maybe what you just said, Ariel, in German, if it's okay for everyone who was.
Yeah, of course.
Also in der Armee muss man im Alter von 18 muss man der beitreten, quasi wird man eingezogen in den Armeedienst in Israel. Und er wollte es eigentlich nicht, weil er so berühmt geworden ist über Instagram und über andere Sachen, weil er sein eigenes Business hatte. Und dann hatte er eigentlich keinen Bock mehr auf die Armee und wollte sich da irgendwie rausziehen sozusagen, und hat dann aber gemerkt, dass das auf gar keinen Fall geht und es einfach nicht möglich ist. In Israel, isn't it in Israel that you're even being punished with prison if you don't join the army?
Yeah, if you don't go to the army, you're going to prison for a lot of times until you go to the army. Okay. So you can stay in the army for, I don't know, a couple of months. You have to go to the army.
Also das heißt, in Israel, wenn man nicht in die Armee geht, dann muss man eigentlich ins Gefängnis, außer man hat ganz, ganz gute Gründe, also wirklich gesundheitliche Gründe oder religiöse Gründe. Und selbst wenn man religiöse Gründe hat, muss man dann eine Art von FSJ sozusagen machen. Genau, und er sagt, man muss dann für mehrere Jahre ins Gefängnis, wenn man sich einfach der Pflicht entzieht sozusagen. Also ist er in die Armee gegangen. David, are you ready?
So I think it's a problem with my laptop. I'm going to try the phone laptop combination. I need 1 more minute, I hope. So yeah, you can maybe slowly start back into the talk. Sorry.
I think we'll start back into the talk, and everyone else will be able to join the translation in a few minutes. Also die Übersetzung ist dann gleich wieder da. Tut uns leid. Okay, Ariel.
So to talk?
Yes.
Okay. So as I said, you have to go to the army. So I understood that, and the army said that I'm gonna go and to be a combat soldier in a combat unit. And then I've decided that I want to go to a special place. I've spoken with different people, and I've decided that I'm going to the Israeli Navy. That in the Israeli Navy, you have to go through different exams that you need to go before the army, and you need to go and to pass those exams to get to the unit that I'm here now. And in Hebrew, it's called gibush, like a training day, like a special day for different. It's a special day for different exams that the army doing on you. Physical exams, mind exams, anything that connected with you, they want to know everything about you. So I've done those exams and I've passed them, and the army said that you are going to the Israeli Navy, and you're gonna be in the unit that protects the Gaza border. And I'm living 5 kilometers from Gaza, and I've decided it is for me. I'm gonna protect my house, my family, my friends, and I decided that I'm going forwards for that. And it's going, and if we go a little bit to the back, before the army, I'm still in the. I thought that I'm in a high place, but I'm very, very low within my faith. I'm not talking to the Lord. I'm not praying. I'm not reading the Bible anymore. I don't think it's important because I have my own life. I'm controlling my own life. I have money because I have my own business. I have my friends that is rich and popular within a lot of followers on different places and networkers. And I decided that I'm going with that. So I don't need the Lord. I'm doing whatever I want to do. I'm the boss of my life. But the Lord just decided to shut all of the doors, everything, to the last door that I opened for myself to take me to his plan for me. And I've known that. And through all of this time, I was drowning and drowning and drowning. I was so weak within my inner place, inner Ariel. So I knew that something was wrong. And I've decided that I'm leaving everything from behind 4 months before I'm going to the army, because I knew that I'm going to be a combat soldier. I knew that I will be in the Navy. So I quit Instagram. I quit TikTok. I closed my business. I closed all of my relationship with all of the non-believers people that affected me wrong. Everyone, and I was only with myself, focusing on the Lord and talking to the believers that was affecting me for good. 4 to 5 months before the army, I went also for a big conference, 2 months in Israel called Chetzim program, and a lot of believers there, and I did 180 degrees change in my life. From doing my life without the Lord, without praying, without even thinking about Him, modeling, acting, different projects, rich people, thinking that I can be famous and rich, and this is my purpose. This is what I want to do in life. The Lord just took all of those things and threw it to the garbage, because this is not His plans for me. And I knew that. And 4 months before the army, I've started to focus on me and on the Lord. And as time goes on, 4 months going on, I'm going to the army day, I'm going to the army. And I've decided that all of this time that I didn't spoke about the faith, it's not going to be anymore. In the army, this is my opportunity to change my life, but not only for me as a believer that came back to Christ, came back to faith, after all of the things that I went through, after all of the people that I had, to come back to the faith, and not only me, but also to affect on another people, to be a light, to be a guide, to pray for other people, and to just talk about Jesus without any hesitation and without any fear, because fear is not from Him. And I knew that, but I still was scared that I will not have anyone in the army that will be with me. And they're coming 25th to November 2021, almost 2 years ago, and I'm going to the army. And this is, I'll show you a picture on the day of the army. So, wait, this is me. In the first day of the army, I'm going to the army. I have my bag. There's the people, new soldiers. There is the house, there's the buses that taking you for the army. And I knew I'm going to be a combat soldier. I knew that I will be in the Navy, Israeli Navy, on a special unit that protects Gaza border. And I'm going there. I'm going to this place. And as time goes on this specific day, someone asked me who I am. And I said to him, my name is Ariel. I'm from Gaza Strip. And I'm going to the Navy. And then he said, like time goes on, we speak and talking, and he's saying to me, do you believe in God? Like it's very typical question to ask in Israel. It's not something wrong to say. It's very okay. And just ask me, do you believe in God? Like you speak within a very special way. And are you believing in God? And this was a turning point. I was able to say no. I'm not believing in the Lord. I'm not a believer at all. But I've decided I'm gonna say I do believe in the Lord, but not only in God. I believe also in Jesus. And what is that means? And I've decided to speak with him and talking, and we're talking, and we're talking, and we're talking. And time goes on, we talk and talk and talk. And this wasn't the first day of the army. And just from this point, I've spoken until this day with hundreds of kids, hundreds of soldiers, talking freely about my faith, not scaring at all at my faith. And just every day praying and wishing that the Lord would take me for a good place. And the army is a very difficult place for believers, very difficult place, because the army don't give you time at all for your faith, especially if you're in combat units. You need to do very difficult stuff within a very difficult situations. And sometimes you forget the Lord. You're doing what they say you to do and just do them. People in the army, it's so many people that coming from all around Israel to one place. People who's coming from Poland or from Spain or from Russia or from United States. The people who's religious, people who's Muslim, people who's Orthodox, or people who's just living their own life without any faith. So many different people. Even homosexuality meets you in the army within different people that homosexual, and you see so many different people that just living their life. And I've seen myself talking with all of them about my faith, and it was very difficult situations, but every time the Lord took me out, and every time He just kept me safe. Today I can say, today I'm after some time I went on with my duty, and I did a course half year to become a deputy commander. Before the course, I did also a course of Krav Maga. I'm a Krav Maga guide. I finished with a big day. This was in my training of my days in the army. And this was my instructor shirt in the finishing day of the Krav Maga guide course. And I've done a lot of things in the army. I've seen a lot of different people, spoken with everyone almost on the faith. Everyone knows that I'm a believer. Everyone knows that I'm a Messianic Jew. Everyone knows that my father is Jew and my mother is Russian. And I'm not scared because I know that the Lord is with me. Today I can say 100% that I'm not scared. And it was for me, I've went through so much things that before the army and in the army that just did so much mess in my life. And the faith of my faith, that was a big tree with a big like things in the ground. I don't know how to say that in English. That kept me very strong on the ground. And yeah, and I can show you a little bit pictures also. And this is the ships of my unit. This is me after I finished my graduation as a deputy commander. I went to my village. They wanted me to raise the Israeli flag on the Independence Day of Israel. And there's a lot of special moments on the army. This is a time with a helicopter. I'm standing there like in here. This is me. And this is me finishing my deputy commander course after half a year with two friends of mine. We went to the army together. This is me. This is my two friends. And this is the ships. I went to Cyprus to do combat training for 1 week within the France, Navy, Italy, United States, Egypt, with a lot of different units from all around the world. And this picture taken on Cyprus. This one also with a helicopter. Here is me. And I went through this also picture in Cyprus. And this is my first ship that I went through in my first day in my unit after the basic training. And this is me in Cyprus after almost 1 year and 8 months in the army. And today I'm responsible for all of the weapons and artillery in my unit, responsible for keeping the unit safe and providing all of the artillery for the unit. There's a lot of challenging days in the army, days that you don't sleep, you don't eat, especially as a combat soldier. I've had days that I didn't sleep for 48 hours, like 2 days in a row, not sleeping at all in the nights, because all day long you're in Gaza, protecting the border, and things going there. There's the Arab people from Gaza trying every day to get inside to Israel, every day trying to do bad things in Israel, every day trying to do a mess in Israel. And my unit is there to protect the border. My unit is there to keep the border safe, the people safe. And I've had a lot of difficult situations. If you have questions, of course, I can answer. But for believers, it's very difficult. A lot of believers losing their faith in the army, and especially Messianic Jews, because you don't have time sometimes to read in the Bible. And sometimes you have so much difficult situations that you ask yourself, like, where's the Lord? Look at that. Like, what is happening? Like, this is so crazy. Where's the Lord in here? Like, he's not existing. And a lot of people having these thoughts and losing their faith. And thank God that these situations just made my faith stronger. Because every day that you have so much difficult situations, you just understand that without the Lord, you just cannot live. You cannot do anything. You cannot go to anywhere. You cannot be safe. You cannot be sure that you're going every day to your house safely or coming back from the sea alive. Just cannot know that. You go for places that you cannot know anything. And this is what kept me like normal and not getting crazy. My faith, Jesus, that helped me to be strong. And I was speaking and talking about my faith for so many people. People asked for the Bible for me. People who's kept with me in contact. People who's wanted to go even to the church. And this is all the Lord's plans for me. And today I can say 100% that I am a believer. I've baptized 1 year ago, something around it. And I'm going with the Lord. I'm finishing my duty in a little bit less than a year, 11 months. And I will finish the army as a combat soldier. And yeah, I'm sure that the Lord will take me to a good place after the army. Of course, all of the things that I've done before the army, I'm sure that the Lord prepared me for something bigger, for something different. But I'm not going to go back for all of those times. And of course, all of these things that I've done, also in the army, the courses, the things. I was a deputy commander. Under me was 10 people from Israel, 10 different types of them, religious, homosexual. I had a woman a commander, that it's not something so normal in Israel. And I've went through a lot, and I'm sure that the Lord prepared me for bigger things. And I'm waiting on him, going with him. And yeah, and this is my story. And yeah, and this is it.
Thank you so much, Ariel. I think we can all give you an applause, your virtual one.
Thank you.
Lass uns ihm alle einen Applaus geben. Läuft die Übersetzung wieder? Weiß es jemand gerade?
Yes.
Yes, very good. Okay. So translation is also back, which is great. Yeah, thank you so much, Ariel. It was so interesting also to hear from about how you grew up with so much pressure, not knowing whom you can tell about what you believe in and whom you can't. And you don't even have to mention anything about Jesus. It's already confusing that your mom is simply not Jewish. So it's like, this is like unimaginable for us. And that is really interesting. Thank you for sharing. And you still call yourself a Jew because your dad is Jewish, and that means that you have Jewish blood, and that's why you're Jew. But you believe in Jesus, so that makes you a Messianic Jew. Just for everyone who didn't understand before, I got a few questions back about the subject, so that's very interesting. Yes. Okay, so there's a few questions. First of all, where are you right now? Where are you sitting right now doing this talk?
I'm sitting in my room in the base.
Okay, so
I
you're
finished
in the
today.
base.
Yeah, I'm in a base. I've changed my clothes to regular clothes. My uniforms are there. And I'm in the base. I finished my day today. I had time to talk with you guys, and finished earlier. I'm normally finishing later, and I finished earlier again to be a part from the Zoom meeting. And now I'm in the room in the base.
Oh, so exciting.
Yeah.
Well, really close to an army base, so that's exciting.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not so normal for us as Germans, or I think we have some people from the Netherlands here and from Austria to see soldiers walking around on the streets. So yeah, very interesting.
Yeah.
What are you doing right now in the army? You said you're taking care of the weapons basically, but are you also a Krav Maga trainer still, or what
Yeah.
else?
So unfortunately, 2 weeks ago, no, 1 month ago, I've got injured through something that I've had in the army in the back, and I couldn't keep going to the sea every day in my service. So the army decided that they need to take me off the sea, not going every day to the sea, but still to keep me like as a combat soldier, because I'm still able to be a combat soldier, but not in the sea, because the sea is very difficult. Sometimes you have 1 meter of waves, 2-3 meter waves. It's a small ship, and it's very, very bad for the back, especially after the injury that I went through in the army. And they decided I'm gonna be responsible for all of the weapons in the unit. Meanwhile, also to teach and to guide Krav Maga in the unit. Krav Maga is a self-defense tactic to keep the soldier safe within different situations, bad situations, people who want to harm them, and also within the Gaza border there, when you need to catch the people that you need to catch, you need to learn how to defend yourself and how to control the situation. And this is what Krav Maga teaches, and I'm also responsible for learning and teaching the new soldiers that are coming to the unit how to shoot properly, how to use the weapons, the guns, and how to use the artillery. I'm responsible for providing everything that the ships need, if it's technical problems, or also to teach the new soldiers that are coming, because I was a deputy commander. I'm still deputy commander, but on the shore, not on the sea. And again, because of the injury, I cannot go to the sea every day, and I'm still combat soldier on the shore. Yeah.
Yeah. And what would you say? There was a question asking, what would you say have you learned in the army regarding to a future profession that you might do? Did it
If I have
prepare you in
something
any way?
like a course that I did that can help me in the future?
Like what you're doing or what you're working on in the army for basically 3 years, how does it help you with your future profession, or how does it prepare you for a future job, for example? You learn anything there?
Yeah. So in the combat units, you don't have different courses that you do for learning something. For example, you have different units in the army that learning computer science, or learning mathematics, or learning different languages, or science, or different things, how to build weapons, how to build bombs, like all of those kind of things. As a combat soldier, you're not doing that. As a combat soldier, you're going to forwards to protect and to keep Israel safe with your own body, with your own ship, for my occasion. And so what combat units give you is a lot of self-discipline, a lot of working hard, and you just mentally much more prepared for the life, I think, especially as a combat soldier. Because when you're going to the sea, for example, in my case, you don't sleep, you don't eat. The sea is high, so you throw up because you have seasickness. You need to catch weapons, and you need to catch people, and you need to do different stuff that you need to protect the border, and sometimes even worse. And you have so much difficult situation that it builds you mentally very, very strong. And a lot of people, after being in a combat units, just go out, going for very high places in the high tech, building businesses. I was a commander for 10 people. So we all learn how to be a leader, how to be a guide, how to learn, how to teach. It's different things. You learn how to speak. You learn how to do things that can help you much more in the future than doing mathematics course, for example, because mathematics you can do after, but this all of the things that I've given in the army, like building myself as a person, was much effective than doing a course. So Krav Maga, I also know, for example, I can teach and do that after the army, but it's more for myself. But this is what it is. Yeah.
Okay. Just ask everyone to ask more questions because we're running out of them, but we're not actually running out of questions because I have a ton of questions. And the next one is, can you share about anything that was like the most exciting situation you had with the Gaza border, at the Gaza border? Is there anything that's not classified that you're able to share with us, or not at all?
So there's a lot of classified that I cannot say. So those things were like more for me the exciting things, but there's a lot of also exciting things. Just that they're stating that you 24/7 go to the sea. You're going for 3 days without phone, without normal clothes, without like resting. You just go for Gaza and you stay there in the sea for 3 days in a row, and you sleep with your uniforms, with your shoes, with everything. You just don't take them off. You sleep like that in the sea, because in a matter of seconds something can happen. You need to go up and to take your weapon, to wear your vest, your helmet, and to start shooting for a target. So it's a matter of seconds. For example, from a moment that I'm sleeping, I have 50 seconds to go up in the ship, to go outside, to grab my weapon, to wear my helmet, to wear my shield, to wear my vest, and to be ready to shoot if I need to. 50 seconds from the second that I'm sleeping in the bed, 50 seconds to go up and to grab a weapon ready for attack. It's crazy for a lot of people. And for example, I had a situation that there were different ships, different boats crossing the border. We started shooting in the area of them and protecting the border. And different people seen that, and this kind of things happens all the time. Shooting, protecting, and there's not. I can say that there's not one time that I almost came back from Gaza to go back to my base, to the shore, after 3 days, 2 days, and I didn't shoot. It happens all the time because people all the time cross, and people all the time trying to go across the border. And for me, the special things is that my family 5 kilometers from me, living across Gaza, and they living there in Gaza Strip, and I'm protecting the border. I'm protecting with my own self. Yeah.
Would you say people are mostly trying to cross because of drug smuggle or because of literally trying to kill Jews in Israel?
You cannot know. You cannot know who's crossing the border. You cannot know because sometimes it's regular people just trying to fish, because there's very poor situation in Gaza. So this can also happen, but sometimes they're not exactly fishers. Sometimes there are different people, and you cannot know anytime for 100% what is their intentions. So you need to be ready, and you need to stop the attack before it happens. So sometimes you protect the border, and every time that someone crosses the border, it's illegal. It's not okay. So you need to keep it safe, and you start doing things that you need to do to protect it. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. I have 3 questions now, just to know how many questions are ahead of us. One is, where do you see yourself in 5 years after finishing the army, after all that? The second is, what is your most impressive experience with God during your service, or what was so far? And the third one is regarding to Iran. What do you think about the current situation? So Let's start with the first one. Where do you see yourself in 5 years after the army?
Well, it's a big question. Every day I'm in the army. I have a lot of plans, a lot of different things that I want to do in the future. Different plans, different things, and I just know every day that no matter what, the Lord will take me to the right place in the right time with the right people. But what I know that I want to do is to work with people for helping not only Israel but also the believers and the people all around the world, no matter where. And it can be within flying to difficult places and helping there and volunteering, or it can be with different organizations or working with different people, opening my own organization maybe one day. I don't know, but I know that I want to do something that helps the world and making it a little bit better than it is now, and not only for money, but for doing good and for doing great things for the world, for the believers, and for not the believers, to talk about the faith freely, to help for people to prosper, to talk about the faith. For me, it's very important, especially after so many years that I didn't spoke about the faith. Now it's the time. Now I'm finishing the army and I'm seeing myself doing that. And again, I don't know exactly where the Lord will take me, but I know that after all of those things that I've went through and the things that I've done in the army, it teached me to do so many things. I will do those things after, and in 5 years I will see where the Lord will take me.
Maybe to
Yeah.
Germany.
Maybe, maybe.
What is the greatest or the craziest experience you had with God during your service?
Wow. I have a situation. For me, it's every time that I'm speaking about it, I have like goosebumps, because there was one time that there was a boat from Gaza that crossed the border, and she crossed the border, and we came across her, started shooting and aiming to this boat, and I understood that there is so many problems also in there that we also need to think of, and so many poor people, but sometimes they not actual poor, they doing themselves poor to do bad things in Israel. And there was a moment that we're sailing with the ship. This one is the Arab ship and like Arab boat that trying to cross the border, and this is my ship that like protecting, and we're starting to go forward them and to cross the ship and to like to prevent them to cross the border and to prevent them to do bad things in Israel. And we're starting shooting at him, and then my commander says to me in the like in the radio of the ship to aim to the target and to shoot a little bit to the right. So I'm starting shooting like to the right a little bit, of course not on them, because they it's not still something unsafe, it's not something that is bad, they're just trying to cross the border, so we're just shooting like across them, not on them, to just show them don't cross the border, we're here. And I'm starting shooting, and on those seconds that I'm shooting, there was a verse from the Bible that just popped on my head when David was against Goliath, and he's just saying, I'm coming to you with the Lord of Israel, like the Lord of armies. I do not say it in English, but in Hebrew it's אני בא אליך בשם אדוני אלוהי צבאות אלוהי מערכות ישראל. Like within the Lord of the armies, within the Lord of Israel, and you will not beat me. You will not do anything bad. You will not do anything, because the Lord is with me. And meanwhile, I'm shooting with the weapon to those people, trying to protect the border, trying to keep them out of the crossing, and trying to keep Israel safe. And the people who's on the beach, they're seeing this to keep them safe. I'm just saying this verse over and over and over and over and over again. And I'm just seeing how they just did a circle and went back off to their place after I'm just saying that. And it was amazing. And they didn't hurt me. I'm just speaking to myself. My friends in the ship thought that I'm crazy. I'm shooting and talking to myself, and they just thought I'm crazy. But I knew that it was something great there, and for me, it was so amazing experience to know that I'm keeping Israel safe, to know that I'm keeping my family safe out of a terror attack or anything. And they tried to cross the border, and in the second that I'm saying this verse and shooting to the right of them, not on them, and they across the border, and we're still not shooting on them, and they just decided to go back after I'm saying that. And for me, it was amazing situation, and thank God for that. Yeah, and that's for me a very special moment. It was, yeah.
You said all your friends on the ship thought that you're crazy talking to yourself. Are there any other believers, like Messianic Jews or Christians even, serving with you in the army that you can, like, talk to sometimes?
In the army, of course, there is a lot of Messianic Jews that's serving in the army, also, especially as a combat soldiers. There's a lot of people, actually, because we as believers, coming also from a perspective of faith, trying to keep Israel safe, knowing that this is the Holy Land. If we will not keep it safe, no one will keep it safe. And a lot of bad things will happen if we will not keep it safe. So I have a lot of friends who are believers who's serving in the army. In the Israeli Navy, I have maybe two. In all of the Israeli Navy, the ground forces I have a lot, but then to go inside the Navy, it's difficult. So not everyone able to come to the Navy. So I have maybe two friends that are believers in the Navy, but others in ground forces. Of course, speaking in my specific unit, I'm the only Messianic Jew, only believer, and most of the unit knows that, and they can think whatever they want to think of, and I'm still will be Messianic Jew.
Wow. Okay. So let's ask one last question about the Iran situation in Iran. What do you think about it? Yeah. What do you learn about it?
Israel went through a lot of attacks in the history, from Lebanon, from Egypt, from Gaza. We went through attack several weeks ago, and it was difficult, but we were coming through that. And like I told, and I'm believing with that within 100% with my heart, that we have the Lord with us, and the Lord's also protecting the land. And there is so much bad things going on, but I don't think at all that something will happen. Of course, maybe something will happen, and maybe there was even will be a war, and we're preparing for that. The army is ready for that, and maybe there will be a war, but Israel will stay Israel, and the land will stay the Holy Land, and God will stay in here and help also Israel to go through that moment, difficult stuff. The Lord is with us, and I'm sure that we will be able to go through that no matter what, and He will help us to go through that. And I have no doubts about us keeping Israel safe and keeping this country safe. And again, without the Lord, it will not happen. But with the Lord, anything is possible. And I know that no matter what, even if all of the grounds and countries of all around Israel will attack, we will still stand on our legs with the Lord. And like I prayed against those situations, like the Lord of the armies, the Lord of Israel, is the same thing here. And me and all of the believers here in Israel, the Christians, praying for that, and have no doubts. And I'm sure that everything will be okay. Maybe there will be a war, maybe not. And we're here ready for anything.
Yes, it's always good to have an army to protect the country and the civilians.
Yeah.
So anything can happen, but also the Lord is with you, and it's very nicely put. Thank you so much, Ariel. We're praying for you. We're an army of praying Christians in Germany and other countries.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you so much. We have come to the end of this session. even though there's a lot of questions now, but to anyone who still has a question, I think Ariel will be, maybe you can share your email address or whatever, so people can still maybe ask you a question later on, or your phone number, choose whatever.
I can, if you want to, I can type it in the computer, on the chat. I can type it, wait. I'll do a note and then everyone can save maybe my message, my number, and can write me anything that you want to, and if you have questions, everything. So wait.
Okay, perfect. And
yeah,
whoever wants to join us on our Israel trips, we do tour groups to Israel. Here you can write the number down. I think it's not so clear, Ariel.
It's not clear?
Yeah, now it's
okay.
clear. Now, like this, yes.
Okay.
And anyone who wants to hear more about Ariel can always join us on our Israel tours, because I will be in Israel with a group next week, and you will be there to visit us and talk to us and maybe teach us some Krav Maga.
Also possible. Yes, it is possible.
That's great. Okay, so we're excited to see you live.
Yeah.
And yes, okay. So to all our international friends, we will take 5 to 8 minutes to like a German part of advertisement of some things. And then, as we said, as we've spoken before, you're welcome to just, mute this meeting and then in 10 minutes come back and meet with Ariel, as we said. Okay. Ariel, thank you so much. Also, you're welcome to just mute yourself for 10 minutes or whatever and just take a break. Okay. And let's give you an applause again right here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. And thank you so much, David, for translating this meeting. Really, really great. Also, the applause is also for you. Okay, well, we'll see you back in a few minutes. Okay, wir haben noch eine kleine Zeit von einer kurzen Werbepause oder eine Werbung wie am Ende immer, wo wir einfach andere Organisationen vorstellen, wo ihr euch engagieren könnt oder wo ihr eure Freunde, eure Bekannte auch Infos weitergeben könnt, dass sie sich engagieren können, ehrenamtlich entweder bei uns oder als Volontär in Israel heute. Und zwar ist die Vanessa hier im Meeting. Die ist gerade Volontärin in Südisrael, noch für ein paar Wochen, dann musst du, glaube ich, schon wieder zurück nach Hause, ne? Hier bist du, alles klar, Herzle. Und ihr sucht gerade bei Adi Negev, kannst ja gleich noch was dazu sagen, 4 Volontärinnen, vor allem Mädels. Das hat auch seine Gründe, ich weiß nicht, ob du es gleich sagst, aber 4 Volontärinnen, die da 4 bis 12 Monate dienen als FSJler. Genau, vielleicht sagst du einfach mal ein paar Worte dazu.
Hi, ja, danke Lina für deine kurze Vorstellung. Tatsächlich habe ich die Zahl 4 nur von dir gehört, nicht von offizieller Seite hier. Ich weiß, dass Sie genau fürs nächste Jahr auf jeden Fall noch Freiwillige suchen. Ich denke, es sind Frauen, sie suchen Frauen, weil es im Moment einfach halt eine Wohnung gibt für internationale Freiwillige. Und deswegen, und ich nehme an, dass diejenigen, die sich schon beworben haben, eben Frauen sind und es deswegen, genau, dass es keine gemischte Gruppe ist, sondern eine einheitliche sozusagen. Genau, dann fange ich einfach mal an. Genau, ich bin Freiwillige hier in Adi Negev Nahalat Eran. Und ja, ich hoffe, ich kann euch jetzt ein bisschen begeistern und überzeugen, hierher zu kommen. Das ist nämlich super schön hier. Ich bin schon fast 9 Monate hier und in 2 Wochen geht es tatsächlich nach Hause. Es ist super witzig und cool auch, dass ich jetzt heute hier davon erzählen darf, weil ich das erste Mal in Israel mit Israel Connect war. 2017 war das, glaube ich. Von daher, ja, kein Zufall, aber genau, sehr cool. Genau, was ist Adi Negev? Adi Negev ist ein Rehabilitationsdorf für Kinder, Jugendliche und Erwachsene mit schweren multiplen Behinderungen. Und es liegt eben im Süden Israels, neben Ofakim, so eine halbe Stunde weg von Beersheba. Ich habe gerade nochmal nachgeschaut, 25 Kilometer weg von Gaza, so in die Richtung. Es gibt auch noch einen zweiten Standort in Jerusalem. Genau, aber ihr könnt euch Adi Negev, das Bild hast du gerade eingeblendet gehabt, Dina, wie so ein richtig kleines israelisches Dorf vorstellen, mit Gate, mit Zaun außenrum. Es gibt 6 Wohngruppen, es gibt eine Sonderschule mit 12 Klassen, da helfe ich mit. Es gibt einen Kindergarten mit Kindern mit und ohne Behinderung. Es gibt ein Krankenhaus für externe Patienten. Es gibt eine Mensa, da dürfen wir uns auch einmal am Tag was zum Mittagessen holen und einen kleinen Zoo und Pferde und auch ein Schwimmbad, wo Kinder oder auch Erwachsene verschiedene Therapien haben. In meiner Klasse zum Beispiel gehen die Kinder wöchentlich zur Pooltherapie und da darf ich sie auch hin begleiten. Das ist sehr spannend zuzuschauen. Und was es eben auch noch gibt, ist das Wohnviertel. Also wir Freiwillige wohnen hier eben auch. Das Wohnviertel ist relativ neu gebaut worden oder es ist auch noch im Bau, also neben uns ist noch eine Baustelle. Im Moment leben hier 7 israelische Familien, die super nett sind, die uns immer wieder auch zum Schabbat einladen oder auch zu Feiertagen. Zum Beispiel ganz am Anfang, als Sukkot war, standen hier eine Menge Laubhütten rum und die haben uns abends dann eingeladen, bei denen zu essen. Das war sehr schön. Dann sind hier noch so ungefähr 50 israelische Freiwillige, die eben nicht zum Militär gehen, sondern einen anderen Freiwilligendienst machen stattdessen. Und eben wir internationalen Freiwilligen. Im Moment bedeutet das, wir sind zu 9 aus Holland, Deutschland und Amerika, zwischen 18 und 28 Jahre alt. Und genau, wir wohnen hier zusammen in einer Wohnung mit einem großen Gemeinschaftsraum, Küche, Ess- und Wohnzimmer. Und genau, der Freiwilligendienst ist ziemlich flexibel. Es gibt keinen festgelegten Zeitpunkt, wann man anfangen muss. Das fand ich einen großen Vorteil. Und er sollte mindestens 4 Monate gehen, bis, du hast es gesagt, 12 Monate, ein Jahr, aber wir haben jetzt hier auch eine Freiwillige, die sogar noch ein Jahr verlängert hat, weil es ihr so gut gefallen hat und sie eben 2 Jahre da bleiben wollte jetzt. Und genau, wir als Freiwillige helfen hier mit in den Wohngruppen und der Schule oder im Kindergarten und sind da einfach mit im Alltag dabei. Also man muss überhaupt keine pflegerischen Tätigkeiten durchführen, sondern es geht einfach darum, die Leute, die da arbeiten und die Lehrer zu unterstützen. Ich kann euch jetzt kurz von der Schule halt erzählen, weil das meine tägliche Arbeit hier ist, dass ich beim Füttern helfe, beim Frühstück, beim Mittagessen, Schuhe anziehen, im Unterricht einfach begleiten, keine Ahnung, mittrommeln, wenn die Musikunterricht haben. Beim Sportunterricht werfen wir Bälle durch den Klassenraum. Ich darf auch jede Woche ein kleines Kunstprojekt mir überlegen und mit den Kindern durchführen. Und das finde ich ja auch so super schön. Also sie wollen wirklich, egal ob du in der Schule bist oder sonst in den Wohngruppen oder sonst wo, dass du dich einbringst mit deinen Ideen, wenn du ein Instrument spielst oder wenn du irgendeine Idee hast, ist es, ja, freuen die sich, wenn du dich einbringst und sind auch echt offen dafür. Genau. Adi Negev organisiert auch alle paar Monate gemeinsame Ausflüge, so als gesamte WG. Wir waren zum Beispiel in Jerusalem mit einer Führung oder wir haben in Tel Aviv ein Spiel zusammengespielt, das ziemlich lustig war. Und auch sonst mit den Urlaubstagen kommt man hier auch gut weg und kann reisen und auch echt viel vom Land sehen. Ich war echt von Eilat ganz unten bis oben nach Naharia, am See Genezareth. Ich glaube, ja. Ich habe, glaube ich, noch 3 Reiseziele, die ich noch schaffen wollte, was ich jetzt nicht mehr schaffe, aber ich werde wiederkommen.
Du kannst einfach nochmal mit uns auf eine Reise gehen.
Zum Beispiel. Genau, und keine Ahnung, ob ihr euch vielleicht schon gefragt habt, wie ich mich verständige. Tatsächlich hauptsächlich mit Hebräisch. Also hier sprechen nicht alle Englisch, aber man kommt schon auch damit durch. Sie sind super geduldig, man kann sich irgendwie auch mit Händen und Füßen unterhalten oder Google Translate benutzen. Sie sind super froh über jedes Wort, über jeden Satz, den du irgendwie aufgeschnappt hast. Und es ist aber natürlich auch super die Gelegenheit, einfach Hebräisch zu lernen und die Chance zu nutzen, wenn man hier ist. Und dadurch kriegt man auch ganz andere Einblicke. Ich war jetzt am Wochenende zum Beispiel bei meiner Kollegin eingeladen, die nur Hebräisch spricht, bei ihrem Mann und habe da übernachtet für Schabbat. Und das war für mich selber so verrückt, weil ich dachte, so gut ist mein Hebräisch eigentlich gar nicht, aber die sind so geduldig und so süß und sie freuen sich einfach so. Das war sehr besonders. Und genau, was vielleicht noch wichtig ist, es gibt hier so ein mini kleines Taschengeld und der Wocheneinkauf wird übernommen. Also der wird quasi bezahlt, das Programm eben kostet an sich nichts. Man muss sich nur selber um Versicherung und um Hin- und Rückflug quasi kümmern. Genau, das war's. Ja.
Cool. Ja, vielen Dank dir, Vanessa. Richtig cool. Hört sich auf alle Fälle an, als wärt ihr rundum versorgt. Und ich kann es auch, so wie du, wirklich jedem nur empfehlen, mal ein Volontariat in Israel zu machen. Ich habe auch mal eins gemacht. Und gerade die Seminare oder diese Ausfahrten, die man auch machen kann, eben gemeinsam als Volos, das ist einfach mega. Und Hebräisch zu lernen, ist mega cool in der Zeit, wenn man sich's leisten kann, wenn man es irgendwie tun kann. Tut's, bewerbt's. Es hilft jedem, ich denke, auch ein bisschen Hebräisch zu können, um mal die Bibel auf eine andere Art zu lesen, im Original sozusagen. Genau, richtig cool. Schön, dann wünschen wir dir auf alle Fälle noch 2 richtig schöne Wochen jetzt in Israel. Lass danach gern wieder von dir hören. Es muss danach nicht vorbei sein wie Israel. Und genau, man kann sich nämlich ehrenamtlich bei uns engagieren. Vielleicht geben wir dir noch alle kurzen Applaus, dass du da warst. Vielen Dank dir. Und dann würde ich einfach weitermachen, noch ganz kurz von unserem nächsten Projekt zu erzählen. Und zwar haben wir als Christen an der Seite Israels ein Patenschaftsprogramm in der Ukraine und in Moldawien auch. Wir sorgen dort für Holocaust-Überlebende, sodass dass die quasi, man kann eine Patenschaft übernehmen, sodass man jeden Monat das spendet an die Person, das die braucht zum Medikamente kaufen, Essen kaufen und so weiter. Und wir haben eine Mitarbeiterin hier, Anemone, die auch immer wieder besuchen geht und dann auch nette, einfach Begegnungen dort hat und wirklich auch den Leuten wirklich, also wirklich von Herz zu Herz begegnen darf. Das ist echt krass. Wir brauchen aber, um noch mehr Patenschaften machen zu können, Leute, die Biografien von den Leuten vor Ort, also von Holocaust-Überlebenden in Moldawien und Holocaust-Überlebenden in der Ukraine, von Russisch ins Deutsche übersetzen. Das Ganze sieht dann so aus. Wir haben dann hier so eine Biografie. Und mit dieser Biografie wollen wir dann neue Patenschaften bewerben, sozusagen, dass neue Leute die übernehmen können. Das heißt, wir suchen nach jemandem konkret, der Russisch ganz gut verstehen kann, Deutsch als Muttersprache oder auf muttersprachlichem Niveau beherrscht und freiwillig sich ehrenamtlich quasi uns unterstützen möchte, sich dafür einsetzen möchte, dass diese Biografien auf Deutsch übersetzt werden vom Russischen. Genau, wenn ihr euch davon angesprochen fühlt oder jemanden kennt, der das gerne machen würde oder den ihr euch da gut vorstellen könnt, dann schreibt doch hier einfach mal der Anemone. Ich stelle hier ihre Kontaktdaten in den Chat. Ich habe auch gerade schon die Kontaktdaten von Adi Nege, von Vanessa, in den Chat gestellt. Vanessa, deine Nummer ist drin und auch die Nummer von der Ansprechpartnerin vor Ort, Dina Rachamin, sie ist auch Dina. Juhu. Genau. Ja, von daher gerne hier einfach euch melden, wenn ihr möchtet. Und wer noch teilnehmen möchte an der Heartbeat-Konferenz, bald findet von der TOS in Tübingen, glaube ich, diese Heartbeat-Konferenz statt. Das ist eine große Konferenz mit Sprechern aus Deutschland, Amerika und Israel. Für 2 Tage vom 23. bis 25. Juni. Also meldet euch noch an. Es sind, glaube ich, noch ein paar Plätze frei und seid da dabei. Habe ich den Link auch in den Chat gestellt. Genau. Ja, an dieser Stelle nochmal herzlichen Dank an alle, die hier mitgewirkt haben heute Abend. Und schön, dass ihr da wart, dass ihr euch die Zeit genommen habt und euch dafür interessiert. Schreibt Ariel gerne, wenn ihr irgendwie noch Fragen habt. Schreibt mir gerne, wenn ihr jetzt nicht mitgekommen seid mit den ganzen Ansprechpartnern für die ganzen unterschiedlichen Sachen. Ich schicke euch gerne immer alles zu im Nachhinein. Genau, ich denke, meine E-Mail-Adresse haben die meisten, aber ich stelle sie mir nochmal rein. Yes. Okay. Und an dieser Stelle sage ich einen schönen Abend euch, eine schöne Woche und hoffentlich sehen wir uns dann im nächsten Monat wieder beim nächsten JCSI Live. Wir nennen die Sachen ja jetzt nicht mehr Reformation, sondern JCSI Live. Wir sind die jungen Christen an der Seite Israels, der Arbeitszweig junge Generation von Christen an der Seite Israels und wir machen diese Sachen hier und möchten aber auch eine Plattform sein für alle möglichen Organisationen in Israel und in Deutschland, die irgendwas zu tun haben mit unseren Herzensangelegenheiten. Also kommt gerne immer vorbei. Genau. Und dann sagen wir hier an dieser Stelle Tschüss.